Bitcoin is trading at around $34,000. The big picture is super bullish. And in this video, we're going to run through some of those headlines and what has been happening. We have former President Trump basically saying that Bitcoin is essentially a currency competing with the US dollar. We have a literal country, El Salvador, basically making Bitcoin legal tender. And there's all sorts of enormously positive news going on. So if you've been feeling a bit fearful in this video, that should help alleviate your fears, because in the long term, I can see us going much higher. What's up guys, Dirk here from intelligentcryptocurrency.com. If you are new to the channel, hit the subscribe button, click the notification bell after you do. That way you will continue to get my updates whenever I upload a new video. If you want to never miss another upload, then basically get on my email list. First link in the description below. Click that, enter your name and email there, and then you'll get on my email list. I can send you an email every time I upload a new video. Alright, so I want to start out with playing this clip from Donald Trump talking about Bitcoin. So let's just play that real quick.
One last question. You don't like Bitcoin? You wouldn't invest in Bitcoin? Do you invest in the stock market at this moment?
So not at this moment. I think it's high. So I have not invested in the stock market at this moment. I have in the past, but I have not at this moment. I think it's high. Bitcoin, it just seems like a scam. I was surprised. You know, with us it was at 6,000 and much lower. I don't like it because it's another currency competing against the dollar. Essentially, it's a currency competing against the dollar.
So you can see over here, basically, Donald Trump was saying Bitcoin, it is just a scam. I was surprised it was at 6,000, much lower. I don't like it because it's another currency competing against the dollar. Essentially, it's a currency competing against the dollar. So he basically just endorsed Bitcoin, saying it's a currency that has the potential to compete with the US dollar. If it wasn't a threat in any way, it probably wouldn't have even been mentioned. So this is actually a really positive look at Bitcoin, in my opinion. So we have so much happening, and look at what's happening. Okay, so basically the biggest news of the past couple days is that El Salvador, a country in South America, has basically passed a bill to make Bitcoin legal tender. That means Bitcoin is officially a legal currency that can be accepted as payment within the country in El Salvador. So that is super positive, and that is literally the first thing. And you know, people might be wondering, like, oh, might be saying, oh, El Salvador, it's a small country in South America, nobody cares. This is a literal country, guys. It starts small, and then there is a ripple effect. And as it continues to grow and grow, we saw this last year with Microstrategy starting to buy Bitcoin, and this was saw Tesla, and then we saw a whole bunch of other companies starting to buy Bitcoin and adding that to their balance sheet. Now we have literal countries starting to do this with Bitcoin. So imagine what is going to happen over the years as this continues to grow. So you can see over here, let me translate this also. So this one is for Paraguay. As I was saying a long time ago, a country needs to advance hand in hand with the new generation. The moment has come. This week, we start with an important project to innovate Paraguay in front of the world, the real one to the moon. Hashtag Bitcoin, hashtag PayPal. So we see El Salvador do it. Then we have Paraguay talking about it, another country in South America. And then we have this also, an advisor to the president of Colombia, also a South American country, now DMing Jack Mallers about Bitcoin adoption, right? So there's basically this little ripple effect here from El Salvador and then neighboring South American countries who are also starting to consider it. And, you know, this could have enormous consequences. The more people that start to adopt it, the more people that start to use it. And this is especially where Bitcoin has become so important. We've actually seen the adoption of it without it being official, but you know, in countries like Argentina, Venezuela, Turkey, where their native fiat currency is declining in purchasing power, where there's massive inflation, the citizens there are buying Bitcoin as a way to protect their wealth and their purchasing power. And I would say that these countries that are suffering the most from fiat currency devaluation are going to be turning to Bitcoin, as we are starting to see. And I think this just basically solidifies the fact that Bitcoin is here to stay, and it is going to get much bigger. Keep in mind, there's only 21 million Bitcoin that there will ever be in existence. There's far less available right now due to some of it being lost, locked up, all that kind of stuff, people who have bought it, who are holding it. So the actual amount of Bitcoin is very small that is available these days. And once it spreads and once people start realizing and we start getting to 1 billion, 2 billion, 3 billion people who all want to own Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, what do you think is going to happen to the price? And in the short term, sure, Bitcoin sold off by 50% over the last couple of weeks. But keep in mind, just last year, Bitcoin was still trading at $4,000, okay, in 2020. So we are still over $30,000. We are still hugely up compared to the lows of last year. And this adoption kind of stuff is only getting started. What do you think? Where are we going to be in 3, 4, 5 years from now, 10 years from now? How much more valuable is Bitcoin going to be? And that, if you're watching this, gives you an enormous opportunity, potentially, to be able to have Bitcoin and hold it for the long term. Then Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway invests $500 million in a digital bank that works with Bitcoin. So check this out. So as reported by CNBC, Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway has invested $500 million into Brazilian digital bank Nubank that first appeared on CNBC's disruptor list in 2021. So remember, Warren Buffett was the guy who was saying that Bitcoin is rat poison squared, right? But you can see what his companies are doing, and obviously people are in it for the money, right? So even whatever his personal opinion is on the matter, if there is a possibility to make money with digital assets, and basically they see digital assets are the future, why not invest in that and actually make money from the entire trend, right? So we can see, look at what they're doing, not at what they're saying. We saw the same thing with JP Morgan, where Jamie Dimon, the CEO of JP Morgan, was basically saying, you know, Bitcoin is a scam, it's a fraud. And then all of a sudden, JP Morgan started launching JP Morgan coin, and they got into blockchain tech and all this other kind of stuff, right? So look at what they're doing, don't look at what they're saying. Again, here are some more headlines that show it's so bullish. Top White House tech critic Tim Wu holds more than $1 million in Bitcoin. Then we can see over here Microstrategy, Michael Saylor, who has basically been, you know, the lead of public companies buying Bitcoin since last year. They've continued to buy, and actually even now they have announced $500 million where they're raising money for a secured note to be able to acquire more Bitcoin. It's absolutely nuts. He's been buying hundreds and hundreds of millions, actually billions of dollars worth of Bitcoin. And he's been buying this since, I think, between $20,000 and $60,000, and he continues to dollar cost average into Bitcoin. Now, sure, in the short term, maybe that will end up going slightly below his entry price or his average entry price. But in the long term, imagine what a few $1 billion worth of Bitcoin is going to be worth in a few years from now. If they have the capacity to be able to hold it for that long, imagine the profits that they're going to make from their Bitcoin investments. It's absolutely insane. Then we look over here, Barry Silbert, who is the CEO of Grayscale, obviously, so worth following, 500,000 followers, basically saying a 15-year Goldman Sachs veteran who has TradeBlock CEO breaks down why she has zero doubt that the massive wave of institutional investors moving into crypto will continue. She is 100% convinced by crypto, has zero doubt that institutional adoption will take off and two trends will continue. The governor of Texas called the state the Mecca of Bitcoin and has now put his money where his mouth is with signing Bill HB 4474. The bill helps better define the legal status of Bitcoin in the state. America is embracing Bitcoin and the freedom. So you can see, guys, on so many fronts, in so many different countries, so many different places, Bitcoin is just progressing in enormously fast ways. You can see over here, Jack, CEO of Twitter and of Square, is considering making a hardware wallet for Bitcoin. If we do it, we would build it entirely in the open, from software to hardware and in collaboration with the community. Again, more people focused on development, infrastructure, technology, adoption, and all this together over time is just, in my mind, doesn't result in anything else than Bitcoin and crypto getting much bigger than where it is today. So again, the opportunity here is that we are still early, and that in a few years from now, imagine how much the prices and the growth and everything could increase. Imagine 5 years ago, you would have bought Bitcoin, right? In 2015, 2016, looking at today, how the craziness of the profit potential that there was, right? Imagine 5 years from now, seeing all this put together. Where is that going to go, right? And just, you know, putting two and two together, logically, seeing all this kind of adoption and investment and progress, like what does that take you, right? It takes you into cryptocurrencies becoming much, much bigger, and the prices of crypto very likely as a result becoming much, much higher. You can see here, even in the Wall Street Journal, DeFi, decentralized finance, was covered over there. Then we have Indonesia, a greater financial inclusion with a gold-based blockchain system. So the Indonesian government's plan to launch blockchain-based precious metal-backed payments and savings platform outside the banking system will likely drive financial inclusion. Right? So Indonesia working on that. Then you can see over here, and these paywalls are super annoying, but basically a pro esports team is getting $210 million. So the FTX exchange basically paid $210 million for a pro esports team to change their name and the arena. So much money going into the space, so much exposure. Popular payments app Gcash is reportedly looking into offering crypto buying and selling for 40 million users. So what we have now is basically these big companies who have the user base, right, and who have the infrastructure are basically starting to open up the floodgates to cryptocurrency, enabling crypto to the masses. We saw this with PayPal, we're seeing it with banks, we're starting to see it with Square, now with Gcash. So many different companies are just opening up the way for the masses to be able to buy crypto in an easy way, right? So again, what does that lead you to believe? Syncterra raises $33 million to connect fintech firms with banks. And we have here Alibaba, Google among more than 300 companies seeking Singapore crypto licenses. They apply under the Payment Services Act, a comprehensive regulatory framework for companies handling activities relating to digital assets, including payments and trading. Then we have here the Chinese government mouthpiece said people still have the freedom to trade Bitcoin at their own risk. Remember, there was all the FUD about China banning Bitcoin and that kind of stuff. Well, this kind of says that is not the case. Then we have over here Miami Mayor Francis Suarez. I own Bitcoin, I own Ethereum. I haven't bought the dip yet, but I'm planning to. So you can see the mayor of Miami here saying, hey, I own Bitcoin, I own Ethereum. How much of an endorsement is that? The mayor of Miami is saying this basically publicly. Hey, I own Bitcoin, I own Ethereum. Right? You're seeing the trend here, and the trend is crypto is here to stay. Standard Chartered to create a joint venture to buy and sell crypto days after top arrival gives the market a pass. So we have Standard Chartered. Also, that's what I'm saying. All these institutions are jumping on board, and the platforms with the existing user bases are now starting to enable the buying and selling of cryptocurrency in an easy way to the masses, to tens of millions of people. So, sure, this takes some time to roll out, but what do you think as this continues? And also think about it from a competition kind of point of view. If you're a bank and you see all your competition starting to offer crypto, are you just going to stay out of it? No, because you're going to miss out on a ton of revenue. So if your competitor is starting to offer crypto and your other competitor is starting to offer crypto as a service, what do you think you're going to do? Well, you're going to have to offer crypto as a service, right? So basically, this is just a domino effect that started. Maybe it'll take time, maybe it'll take months, maybe it'll take a couple more years, but as this continues to grow out and move out, basically the potential exposure to the masses for crypto is absolutely huge. You can see even Google is revamping its ad policy. So for a long time, Google basically banned all ads on cryptocurrency, and now they're starting to adjust that to allow certain type of advertisers with certain types of products or services to start advertising on Google once again. And then we have Coinbase to allow users to use card via Apple and Google wallets, right? So again, huge. Again, opening up the possibility to buy crypto to the masses. So Coinbase Global launched a tie-up with Apple and Alphabet's Google on Tuesday that will allow users to add cards from their accounts to the payment apps run by the two tech giants. So super, super big news. And then finally, this is a little bit older already, but this was basically, there was all the FUD, the fear, uncertainty, and doubt about India banning cryptocurrency and all that kind of stuff. And then basically this came out from the Reserve Bank of India saying that cryptocurrency wasn't banned, basically in a nutshell. So again, we have all this positive news, everything that I've just outlined here. and it just continues to grow. So in the short term, yes, there might be volatility, and yes, the market overshoots, like it went up to 65k and dropped back to 30k, and sure, that really sucks if you bought in at the top or near the top. But look at the big picture, right? Even if you had bought in the very top of 2017 at $20,000 per Bitcoin, sure, you would have drawn down a lot, but 3 years or 3.5 years later, you could have tripled your money. And even right now, after that 50% drop, you would still be up more than 50% if you had bought the very top of the last cycle. So in the larger picture, right, as Warren Buffett says, it's not about timing the market. Obviously, it would be nice if you can favorably time the market, but it is about time in the market. And in a growing market like this with digital currencies, you know, if you've been following the channel, if you haven't subscribed yet, really just subscribe, hit the notification bell, because I do continue to update this. I've been sharing this info for a few years now, how this is growing, and putting everything together, it just really paves the way to digital assets going absolutely mainstream, whether that's going to take, you know, probably a few more years, or whether it's going to take 5 or 10 years. But I really believe that this is going to be the future, and crypto and digital assets are likely to get as big as the way that we use the internet today. Remember, 20 years ago, the internet was basically, it was there, but most people didn't really use it. Now everyone's using it. We've got all sorts of apps. We've got internet on our phone, you know, wherever we go, even, you know, 30,000 feet in the air on a plane, you can get Wi-Fi and connect to the internet. You know, digital currencies, cryptocurrency, it's still relatively new. Bitcoin only came about in 2009, but it is growing so much faster. And the amount of resources and money and talent that is working on taking cryptocurrency and making it much bigger, you know, just makes me think crypto is here to stay. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hopefully you see the big picture and the opportunity that it presents itself. Of course, none of this is financial advice. Always manage your risk. You can never go all in, because who knows what's going to happen. But the potential opportunity here, I think, is one of a lifetime. So guys, thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel. If you haven't done so already, get on my email list too. First link in the description below, enter your name and email, and then whenever I publish a new video, I will send you a email update. So thanks for watching, guys. Like, subscribe, share, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.